Hey there, guys and gals. This is 1985 Games' Dungeon Craft Volume 1. They actually have a Kickstarter going, assuming this video comes out somewhat soon. They have a Kickstarter going right now for Volumes 3 and 4. Volume 1 is like the generic one, but most of the pictures that you see other people show are of like a camp encounter, maybe like a little town. But there's a lot more stuff in Volume 1 than even I was expecting. A lot of people who review it only show like one or two things, and I can understand if you want it to be some kind of surprise, but like if I had known what was in here, I would have went and bought it a lot sooner. So what exactly is it? It is described as a book, but that's not quite what it is. I'm just going to take the cover off here. Also, I hope you guys can see I had a really weird time setting this up. It's wrapped up twice, so there's a cellophane packaging around the thing itself, and then you have this page that tells you what everything is and how to use stuff. I'm hoping you guys will be able to see this on the camera when it's out. But basically, then there's a second set of cellophane, which I've already done, so it won't technically be an unboxing, around all the cards. So it's described as a book, but it's really just a bunch of sheets. And the cool thing about this is, if you're planning to DM a campaign and you don't have a lot of minis or you don't have a lot of stuff, you don't want to draw, because I'm planning a campaign for the near future, whenever the hell the pandemic ends, and I did a whole bunch of stuff with plain mats, and I drew up this grid and the maps and the what have you. But this kit will help you set up your basic campaign, which is awesome and great. And all of these pages are, first of all, they're double-sided. So you'll notice a lot of them are like, this is the top view when you're on the overworld map, and then when someone goes inside, you flip the paper over, bam, you have your thing. All of these sheets are wet and dry erase compatible. So just to show you how cool that is, I'm going to bust out a dry erase crayons box, because that's how cool I am. I also have plenty of dry erase markers, but you know, I do what I can. So say you wanted to put a campfire somewhere, well, you can totally do that. You could just draw right on, I should have picked different colors so you could actually tell what was going on, but I definitely drew on red, and it's fine, and then I just go wubble, 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 and it's done. This is amazing. This is what every DM wants, is this stuff. So this is like your town area, as you can see by the map. But in addition, there's just pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of stuff. I gotta wipe that a little better. Crayons didn't erase as well as I had hoped they would. But the idea is that you just chop out the pages. We got like a little chapel thing going here, which is great. Also, this is totally backwards for me. I was trying to find a good way to set this up, and I realized it's good if I show them to you guys. So I'm over here, clearly. You've got the tavern. You got more. There's so many cool things. And then there's all these little items that just flesh out your world, and they're double-sided. So in this case, these items are pretty much all the same, except you can see that this is now a incendiary barrel, should you need to move it. But there's so you can cut out the areas on the lines, but then for all these little items, for the amount of squares that they take up, there's dotted lines, and you just go in and you cut them out, which is awesome. But there's so much stuff in here. There's beds, there's fruit stalls and stands, there's some weapons, some armor. There's so many things that they don't show you they have. I really hope you guys can see this. I'm going to move these a little closer. I can't see what's on the camera currently, so I'm just taking a guess that you guys can see them. Like pedestals, staircases, carts, which I will actually need, stables with horses, more chariots. It even has a boat, which is weird to me because Volume 2 of Dungeon Craft is Hell and High Water, and even though it's themed Hell and High Water, Dungeon Craft Volume 1 has hellscapes, and it has boats and water stuff in it. Like, this set alone is so great. Look at all these trees, And you can change the season. You can use spell effects if you want. A big old hole. The stream if you want. It becomes fire on the other side. Like, this set is amazing, and I cannot wait to actually use it. Unfortunately, a lot of the toys that Grim has been buying me, because as you know, Grim just likes to spend money on things, are too big for the normal 1-inch scale grid that Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games have. So I've had to make customized maps, at least for a while, that are 1.5-inch grid. But everything in Dungeon Craft is set to the 1-inch grid. So even if you're not playing D&D, but you're playing something else, if it uses the 1-inch grid, if the minis use the 1-inch grid, then bam, throw them on here. There's so much stuff. I'm also like trying to get this review out as quickly as possible because I don't want anyone to come home and interrupt me, because I won't be able to film again until like midnight, and I don't want to do that. But like the sheer amount of stuff that is not described, dragon eggs or just a random room if you want, and it changes based on which side you're on. I'm trying to get to the cooler stuff. Just straight up regular rooms come out. Plenty of treasure. There were boxes and stuff before. Traps, spiked walls, a room full of treasure. Like, there's so much good stuff in here. And I'm so excited that, first of all, I don't have to draw any of this crap, because I don't know if any of you guys know, but I am a terrible artist. Here we go. You got spell markings, which is cool, for both bad, red, and good, green. Like, that's amazing pillars. But what they don't describe to you at all is exactly how many tokens there are. They're like, oh yeah, you get some goblin and some orc tokens, but you get dogs. Let's be real, they're wolves. You get skeletons and orcs, and if you flip them over, then they're different colored, so you can like arrange them in groups by color, which is so cool. You have zombies, hyenas. I think hyenas are a creature type in 5e, I'm not sure. Your regular old goblins. Then you turn them over. They're different goblins. They're undead doggos. And they said there were enemy types, but there's also like a ton of just regular character types as well. So like if you don't have any minis at all to use for 5e, you could potentially just buy this and make do with what's in it. It's got magic items over here, or I guess summoned weapons that are magic. But you can like use these tokens as your characters if you don't have any. And the cool thing is, they're here on this side. You flip them over, it's the same dudes but different colors. So it's like you have two whole different sets of tokens all the time. And then you even have bigger monsters. Like there's big fat horses and stuff. There's werewolves, which I'll probably never get to because werewolves are very powerful and very hard to kill in D&D. One thing I didn't even know is that there's dragons. There's different kinds of dragons. So you got, this looks like a gold or a copper dragon. I'm going to assume a water dragon, the green dragon, and then you have like weapon riders and just straight up ballistae. And then you flip them over, they're different colors, different dragons. Carts, which would be good if you're running the Mines of Phandalver, because you're supposed to find horses and carts and what have you, or your characters are supposed to be hauling a cart. But like, there's so much good stuff in here that there's absolutely no reason for you not to purchase this if you intend to run D&D IRL. Like, there's no reason that this shouldn't be your starter kit. I can't even tell you how cheap this is, comparatively speaking, to buying items. Like, I don't have that many minis, but I have a lot of minis. I have like 100 minis for D&D so far. And that by itself has cost me way over $100. Let's be honest. Way over $100. But this set, where you can basically build pretty much the first like 10 encounters at least, and by encounters I actually mean sessions, you could build like a whole session out of this with the enemy types and what have you, for $30, plus even just if it was just the tokens alone, like just all of these tokens by themselves, I would say would be worth the $30. Because if you bought all these in minis, it would be way more than $30. And then you add on all the extra stuff that's in here, like all these maps that you can just lay out and stick together so that they match up. You have your trees for cover, you have tents, you have traps. Like, there's absolutely no reason not to buy this set as like your starting point if you're going to play D&D in person with friends. I mean, even if you were to play online and you were all using cameras, and like a multicam setup would clearly be the best option, and we have considered that should we decide to film a D&D session. Grim wants to, but trying to film Super Powerful Bonanza in this room even was so difficult. I can't imagine how much more difficult it would be to film a D&D session where like you want to show people's character sheets and you want to have cameras from different angles so you can see like if someone's behind cover, should we get 3D cover pieces at some point, you know. But I absolutely 100% recommend for $30 picking this up. Even before you go out and get minis, like just get this set and you can run a whole bunch of sessions with just this set alone. And even when you like get past the regular area, like you don't fight orcs at the beginning. The fact that there are orcs way up at the beginning, I took everything out of order, which whatever, I guess it technically doesn't matter what order anything is in. But like there's so much good stuff in here. I can't highly recommend this set anymore. And you can go on Kickstarter. I'm going to leave a link as long as it's still running while it's up to the volume 3 and 4. So like I said, volume 2 of Dungeon Craft is themed Hell and High Water. So it's like water battles and battles in hell, or one of the hells. Volume 3 is Castles and Keeps, which I expect to get to at some point. There is a bunch of castle areas, I guess you could say. There's not like turrets and stuff, but like you could consider these stone areas to be inside a castle. Or even the ones later on, while clearly it's supposed to be like a dungeon and what have you, or a tomb, you could still count those as castles. So like there's a bunch of stuff just in volume 1 that you'll also get in volume 2. Like it's not just because the other ones are themed a certain way, it's not like you don't get pieces for them in volume 1. Oh, and I forgot to mention, volume 4 is based on the Curse of Strahd expansion module, so it's a lot of like spooky, scary stuff. There's a lot of vampires and what have you. But I'm ignoring Hell and High Water because I only expect our group to go on a boat like twice, and this one has a boat in it already, so I don't even need Hell and High Water. Where's the boat? Bring me the boat. Bring me the boat. This is not the way to the boat. Sorry, I don't know my way to the boat. Excuse me one moment. Just taking the boat. Here's the boat. Look at this. Look at this. It's already got a boat. It's already got a boat with weapons. Like, I don't need Hell and High Water. And yeah, I will definitely continue to sing the praises of 1985 games because this will vastly help any DM. Not even if you're just starting. It's cool that you get everything in one go, but even if you've already got a bunch of minis and you've had a campaign going for a while, like this will help you, because if you want to redo the maps and what have you, like as your players get to them, like say you have multiple maps in one session, like it's gonna waste a lot of your time to set that next one up. Even if it's just like, personally, my maps are, a couple of them I have to put little things on, like I have to put the stalagmites on because I'm going to use things 3D that are slapped on there. So if I had these, I wouldn't slap those 3D things on. I could just put like a pedestal and bam, it's there. It's easy peasy. Like, this helps at all stages of playing D&D in person, and I'm super ecstatic about my purchase. It's way better than I thought it was. I was also a little worried because they described Dungeon Craft as a book. And even, I can't. Oh, even on the bottom of the box, it's like this book cannot be reproduced. Blah 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 blah. So I thought it was going to be in a binding, and I figured it would be annoying to try and cut things out of a book because they're tied in the binding. But the fact that it comes in separate sheets like this, genius, absolute genius. It's just you're going to take up some time clearly cutting things out. That won't be the most fun process for me, but I highly recommend not cutting out everything unless you need it. Like, leave them in their strips. And the fact that this is a box will help you once you've cut out pieces because you can just lay them in the box. Genius. This is such a genius system. And thank you 1985 Games for releasing this because this is awesome. This is awesome, and I cannot wait for this pandemic to be over so we can freaking play D&D because I'm ready to become the Turbo Nerd. Okay? Okay, it's Turbo Nerd time, dang it.